Okay, guys, here we go, back with another one for you here, and we've got a bit of a departure from some of the things that have been on the channel lately that I've been trying to get for you guys. As of late, been trying to get you the latest, greatest new things coming out of Asia, the special editions, the unique pieces from Seiko for sure. And I do have some interesting things to look at here today, coming close to the rainy season in Asia, so, well, it's a perfect time to look at something from the diving range, and I've got two terrific watches from my collection. These are vintage, however, they are not impossible to find. They are also not impossible to do for your wallet. If you're into collecting watches, you like diving watches, you like tool watches that really do serve a purpose. I love these two, and I want you to get a look at them. Here they are. Let's get a close look. We have the Casio DW-3000 and the Seiko all-titanium gray ghost, the SBCZ005, the gray ghost. These things are out there and available. If you are into chasing after watches and you want to put a little bit of time in looking for them online, both of these can be found. And as I've said, right now, as I recall recently looking on eBay in the U.S. when I was over there, they were available. There's a couple of them up right now, and they are sub $500. In some cases, you can get really lucky and find either one of these for under $250. And they are really, really unique pieces. Let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit in detail of what we have here. And you can see here we have the Casio DW-3000, fondly known as the Tank. And Casio made a number of 300 meters, a handful of them. One of the more famous ones here is the DW-300, made famous there by Clint Eastwood in the movie Heartbreak Ridge. But you can see this has the 548 module. It's a simple module, alarm chronograph. One of the great things is it allows you to switch right over to 24-hour military time easily. It has an alarm, has a light, lets you see the time in all the modes. I really do like it. It's basic, but it just gets the job done, and it has a kind of unique look. You can see here comparing it to one of the newer square G-Shocks, which I love, and I'll show you guys another one that I reviewed a little further back on the channel, which I really am fond of. One of the modern ones has some great materials and great technology. But in terms of what this module does, it is basic. What's great about it is it's truly a bulletproof case, a true, real steel case. Compared to some of these modern ones here, you can see these are well done. The other one on the right there has the carbon fiber in the strap. But there's just something really interesting about a steel Casio with this kind of construction and this kind of really unique industrial design. It just gives you a kind of extra fortified look to it. I really do love seeing this one on my wrist. And you can see here in the stopwatch mode, you still do get your time. Now, these modern ones here have more powerful levels of technology. The backlight is obviously more powerful. You can see here, this one now, we're looking at a approximately a 32-year-old watch, but the light, the little diode in there still works. A little bit faint, you got to kind of angle it, but you can see the time at night. Pretty impressive. Tossed a new cell in that watch, and it still works great, including the alarm. So it's a really impressive thing to see a watch with this kind of technology, and it's still functioning after 30 years of use. What's really terrific about this one, though, it is a true 300 meter with a screw back, extra thick mineral glass, which wears really well. You can see here this one really does screw down, allowing for this one to handle the tolerances of deep depths. And I just love the way that they've machined this. They just don't make them like this. So if you can find this watch, I highly recommend going out there and looking for one of these, adding it to your collection. If you like Casio, and if you haven't considered Casio in some time, this is a way to take a look at something from this era, because this industrial design that they've done for this case, and the pushers, and the way that they've just kind of sculpted the whole thing, pretty timeless, pretty unique, and it's just got a terrific look overall. Another thing to consider with this one is, although it is really sturdy looking, it is not a massive watch. It's only about 38.6 millimeters wide, 39.7 lug to lug. Only about 11 millimeters thick, and that includes everything from the screw back all the way to the top of the case, flat on your wrist there. So it really is surprising. Something this sturdy looking can be so doable for a number of wrist sizes. I'm at about 7 and a quarter inches there, and it really does look great on my wrist, but you can be, I think, in the lower wrist size category and just do quite well with this particular type of watch. So for those of you guys that like Casio, some of the modern ones, really like the giant ones on your wrist, well, consider this one a very doable, very easy to manage mid-size watch that has an exceptional, sturdy build and very impressive wrist presence on your wrist. Okay, well, let's get a look at the other one, and this one is one of my favorites of all time. Again, it is a vintage piece, so let's get a closer look at the Seiko Grey Ghost. Okay, well, let's get a close look at the Seiko Grey Ghost, the SBCZ005. An all-titanium construction 200-meter diver. We're talking pre-prospects here. About 1996, 1997, but really one of the real pretty configurations that they'd come up with for a dive watch. And the fact that it is all titanium construction makes it really unique, especially when you consider what watches in the diving range from Seiko are going for that are made of titanium today. This is a Japanese domestic model. You can see here it is pre-Kinetic branding, so it's called AGS, the Automatic Generating System. We'll talk a little bit about that in detail in a moment. You can see, though, I did just press the power reserve indicator there with the second hand. But getting a close look at that dial, you've got this kind of stippled, almost looks like granite, gray dial underneath that really kind of nicely AR-coated hardlex, a slightly domed hardlex. Love the etched titanium rotating ring there, the bezel, the pip. Everything really just kind of beautifully constructed. You can see now, this had the oscillating weight, all the things that you can probably be familiar with the modern Kinetics. However, it's the older version, so that little capacitor down there needed to be changed, and I decided while I was at it to go ahead and give it a complete overhaul, changed all the seals, even changed the circuit board for about $75 at an authorized Seiko center here in Asia. I got it all done, and now the thing is really good as new. You can see this is kind of a terrific thing. While I was over there, the Seiko Kinetic Energy Supplier, it allows you to put any number of Seiko kinetic movements onto the platform, and then you activate the button there, and for about 3.5 hours of charge time will give you 6 full months of power reserve without having to wear it on your wrist. So if you have a number of Seiko Kinetic watches, it might be kind of fun to pick one of these up. Occasionally they do show up on eBay. Take a look for one of them. And you can see another great Kinetic, which I've had in my collection, the BFK Batman. As I've said, the modern marketplace for the Seiko titanium divers, you can see this is the Shogun. Just a terrific watch, really, really ultra-light, gorgeous thing, automatic. Now, this is a solar quartz titanium diver. The price tag on these is significant compared to a number of the stainless watches. But if you've always wanted to get into a titanium construction watch, which is a feather light, terrific thing to have on your wrist, very easy to wear, very versatile, and you felt some of the newer modern Prospex stuff, the reissues, the Turtle, things like that might be too big for your wrist, I really think you ought to take a look for one of these. The specs on this are pretty terrific in terms of their size. It is a very, very doable size. We're only at about 12.6 millimeters thick with this watch. The lug width, 20 millimeters for the strap, 44.5. Okay, now the 44.5, incredibly deceptive because really it's about 39 and it tapers with those side bolsters and the crown on this, which is again all titanium. And you can see really kind of an interesting set of links on this. They almost have me kind of thinking kind of a Breitling style to them when you look at them from the side. But there's just something really terrific about the overall look of the dial, the depth of it, the slightly domed AR-coated hardlex crystal. really does stand out. And if you get a close look in there on the applied Seiko logo, and what they've done is almost chromed out all of the indus here and the framing on the date window there, it really has a kind of shine to it. Now, there is some polish on this. I've mentioned to you now, many of the modern Seiko titanium watches have the diamond shield or diashield coating. This is a very simple, untreated titanium. They allow it to kind of have its normal finish and look. There is some polish on it, on the edge of the bezel and a little bit there on the links and a couple of other spots. But for the most part, it's just the basic brush to the titanium. It's not overdone. And when they add that gorgeous gray dial to this look, it really does stand out. There's just something special about this one. But in the end, really with these two watches, we're talking about true diving watches, a 200-meter diving watch that has excellent profile on the wrist. On my 7¼ inch wrist, I find it's very mid-sized for me, and I love wearing this one. Even when I'm a little on the dressed up side, I will put this one on because it is very low profile and very, very easy to wear. You can drive with this thing for hours if you are on a road trip. If you're running around, it just doesn't even feel like it is there. It is an incredibly feather-light tool on your wrist, but it just doesn't have that imposing weight and feel, and yet it does really look sturdy and solid. And you can see the clasp there. Got some wear on it. I love the wear. There are guys that have talked about brushing these out and getting them rebrushed. And frankly, I think that the look of it looks terrific. There's just nothing wrong with a little bit of wear on your diving watch bracelet there. But you can see here outdoors in the natural light, it just really, really does stand out. Love the sword hands, the kind of partial skeletonized minute hand there, and the reverse lollipop with the black for the seconds. Love it. I just think it's a terrific configuration overall. Guys, I have to tell you, don't worry. I am not just going to be showing the vintage watches today. At the tail end of this video, we're also going to be talking about a couple of surprises from Seiko, including one that we'll be getting a very close look at here in Asia for you very soon on the channel. I have been made aware from one of my contacts about a new SKX special edition. But let's get a look at the lume. Of course, we can't forget to do a lume shot. You can see now we're looking at 21-year-old Lumibrite here. It works great. It is not as powerful and blindingly bright as some of the newest stuff, but you can see the indices kind of dim a bit after about 30 seconds. But I've tested this out a number of times, and early in the morning can still get a look at it and tell the time. It's just an overall terrific watch. If you can track one of these down, I highly recommend it. And of course, they really, really do belong in the water. That is ultimately what these are all about. You can do just about anything with these and not worry about the condition of the watch. And it looks, ultimately, it just really looks gorgeous in the water. I mean, you can just see here, I'm shooting this video of this watch, and it just really kind of stands out in the water as well as on dry land. Guys, what do you think about these two? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Are you looking for these? Have you owned one? Is it one of the ones that you would look for today? Is Casio on your list? If it isn't, I really think you should consider it. They are pretty terrific, especially the vintage models. Now, I will say, we've got something here at the tail end. Stay tuned. Let's get a look at these two coming up. Okay, well, let's get a look. Here we have a Seiko collaboration with the Giugiaro Design House, a 200-meter diver. Very unique concept here. Stay tuned to the channel for that. And look at this. It is a limited edition Seiko SKX coming out of Asia. I'm going to do my best to get that for you in the coming days. Stay tuned for sure. Okay, guys, well, thanks so much for watching. Appreciate all of your views, your comments. Please leave them, like and subscribe as always if you want to stay tuned for the limited editions coming up here on the channel very soon. I'm doing my best to bring them to you. And as always, thanks so much, and I will talk to you soon.